Hey guys, today we're going to talk about this Kizer Aileon, who knows. Well, you see this thing's pretty dirty. I've been actually using the snot out of this to get ready for this review because this is an expensive knife. And I kind of feel like if I'm going to, promote an expensive knife, I need to make sure it's gone through its paces. So you will see some footage kind of in here of me using this, cutting up boxes, slicing an apple, cutting some cheese, stuff like that. So what is this guy? This is a 3.5 inch S35 VN blade, 8 inches overall length, 3.5 ounces with a titanium handle. Now Kizer is a overseas Chinese manufacturer who's gained a lot of popularity in the knife community for producing really super smooth knives at a very reasonable price. Now this is normally around a $100 knife. I actually got this through Amazon using those Vipon deals for $40. That is just an absolute steal. So let's take a closer look at this. We're going to close this up for a second. Now as you can see, we have a tip up right hand pocket carry. It can also be switched over to tip down, but only on that one side. You have a partially open back. Very large thumb studs, which look to be removable. I haven't tried to remove them yet. You are going to have a proprietary tool needed to open that pivot if you need to adjust it. But you could probably get something in there like a razor blade and do it. You have a little bit of texturing on the titanium. The kind of pill-shaped lanyard hole, Torx bits holding the whole thing together. All right, so let's talk quality. Now, right off the bat, we have very good blade centering. There is an overstop travel on the frame lock. Very smooth flipper. Just absolutely rockets. Lockup is absolutely rock solid. And you can see you've got about, maybe about 50% lockup with that frame lock. So that is plenty good for me. So there it is. That's pretty simple. We'll talk about the blade next. Man, that's smooth. So you can see here it's got a very nice belly slicer shaped blade to it with a little bit of a relief here. And believe it or not, if you actually hold this up to the Kershaw Link, this blade profile is actually almost identical to the Kershaw Link. The only difference being the top portion is shaped differently. It lends to the hand very well, because it does give your finger a place to rest. It has a very good grip to it. And at 3.5 ounces, this actually sits in the pocket very well. It's thin and it pretty much disappears. So overall, very beautiful knife. What you have is a hollow ground portion here on the edge as well. So this makes for a very thin edge, which makes this thing just an absolute beast of a slicer when it comes to cardboard and things like that. So overall, pretty good quality. Now you're going to start to see some footage cut in here of me using this thing. I've been carrying this now for I think 2 or 3 weeks. Very pleased with it. It sits very well in the pocket. You hardly notice it's there. I'm not a big fan of titanium or stainless handles, and this is actually pretty comfy. Even after doing about 60 linear feet of cardboard cutting, I really didn't feel it in my hands. It really didn't give me any hot spots or anything like that. So that is pretty good. You can see the edges are all chamfered nicely on the handle here, so everything is pretty comfortable. I believe this rides on ball bearings, if I remember right. I believe it's got a phosphor bronze on one side and a ball bearing on the other. But yeah, ergonomically, it's a very comfortable knife. Weight is, very nice. 3.5 ounces is perfect for a 3.5 inch blade. Big, heavy blade. Nice bit of belly to it. You can see when you lay it flat, the cutting edge actually hits the table, so you can actually use this for slicing very well. Very fine tip to it as well, so if you're going to use it for those kind of opening packages, draw cuts, this is not a knife you're not going to want to pry with. That tip is very, very thin, so you're definitely not going to want to do that. This thing came to me very sharp out of the box. I literally just dropped it a little bit, and this thing was ping, like a laser. Yeah, so after my testing, you'll see in the testing I do cut quite a bit of cardboard, and after about 60 linear feet of cardboard, it stopped shaving hair. but it also still cut a receipt. I really think that's just more to edge geometry than anything else, but if it can still cut a receipt after 60 linear feet, that is good steel. Now S35VN is very similar to S30, but it's supposed to be a little bit tougher and just have just a hair more edge retention. So not that your average guy like me is going to notice that, but you know, S35VN is kind of the standard now. S30 is kind of out of style. So overall, you know, when you sharpen this, it's going to be a little difficult because you do have such a belly on the knife. And that S35VN is a harder stainless steel, so you're probably going to want to use diamond stones or something a little bit nicer, because your average run-of-the-mill, you know, aluminum oxide stone just might not work with this. So overall, guys, Kizer's really impressed me now that I own a couple of these with their quality. And I've paid for every Kizer I have, guys. I didn't receive them for free or anything like that, so they are paid for by me, every single one of them. And every one of them I'm pretty pleased with. They all hold a decent edge. They all came sharp. They're all very smooth. They all have a lot of good stuff going for them. The only thing I have against the Kizers is they're not made in this country. You know, in the end, if an American company could make a knife this smooth, you know, and sell it on Amazon for 80 bucks, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. This is definitely smoother than all my Made in USA Kershaws and all my other Made in USA knives. This thing's just absolutely rocket smooth, silky smooth, flies out like a rocket. You know, good frame lock to this thing. You know, overall, guys, this is a winner. You know, and I didn't think it was going to be at first. When I first looked at this design, I thought the knife, you know, the blade shape was a little too hinky for me. This is going to be a little too, you know, kind of fanboy. And I don't know. I bought it anyway because it was, like I said, that Vipon deal for 40 bucks. And give it a try, and I'm very pleased. And actually, I kind of feel like I want to, now that I'm done with this review, I think this is going to be back in my pocket tomorrow. I'm very happy with the knife. You know, a lot of the things about it make a very good EDC knife. My EDC, now that gardening season is over, is pretty much restricted to recycling, opening packages and mail, stuff like that. Pretty simple stuff, you know, to be honest. So I really don't need the tougher knife once you're outside of gardening season. So for this, for me, for winter long carry, will be perfect. You know, I do like that thinner edge. You know, it makes that a better slicer. It just does a lot of good things with it. So overall, guys, you know, this is a very nice, very well balanced, well put together knife. And if you can get it with one of the Vipon deals for half price, man, this thing's a winner. Even 80 bucks, guys, I think, you know, now that I've had this and handled it, I think it's worth that money. And there's not a lot of S35VN knives on the market that are, sorry guys, the sunlight here is kind of playing havoc on my filming. There's not a ton of S35VN knives on the market that are really affordable, but also good quality. You know, when you look at a lot of the Kershaws that use S30 and all that, they're not that smooth. They have issues with QC, edge geometry, not edge, how sharp they come. I've gotten some of my USA made Kershaws come with really bad grinds on them, you know, so they're not always perfect. And these Kizers so far have had really good, really consistent quality control, and I've been really just super happy with it. You know, it's got a good pocket clip. It flips well. I mean, what else isn't there to like on this thing? This ring really is a home run.